Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Adventure 2020, episode 24, the final stage, Done Devimon. I'm May, and I'm joined by the lovely Quinn.
Hello.
And the, of course, as I said last week, equally lovely Stevie.
Hello.
So let's get into it. Hey, so just a quick update that I'm saying while I'm editing. There was quite a lot of echo from both Quinn's track and my track that was coming up on Stevie's recording. I've tried the best to edit it out. I know that a couple of months ago I had the same problem, but I was able to edit it out completely seamlessly, but I'm having a bit of difficulty getting it out of this recording, so there's a couple of weird audio glitches for this episode, so apologies for that. I'm trying to do my best to get rid of the glitches, but just a bit of forewarning that a couple of audio segments were just a bit too far gone for me to edit it. So just a bit of forewarning there. I'm aware of any glitches, and I apologise. Alright, well, with that done, then on to the show. Hey, so just a quick update that I'm saying while I'm editing. There was quite a lot of echo from both Quinn's track and my track that was coming up on Stevie's recording. I've tried the best to edit it out. I know that a couple of months ago I had the same problem, but I was able to edit it out completely seamlessly, but I'm having a bit of difficulty getting it out of this recording, so there's a couple of weird audio glitches for this episode, so apologies for that. I'm trying to do my best to get rid of the glitches, but just a bit of forewarning that a couple of audio segments were just a bit too far gone for me to edit it. So just a bit of forewarning there. I'm aware of any glitches, and I apologise. Alright, well, with that done, then on to the show. I even have my notes up and ready, so I've definitely got everything. I don't know what I think I'm forgetting. I'm sure I'll remember it when it's a really bad time.
Yeah, probably.
So the episode starts up, and I feel like I made a joke in my blog review that I did yesterday, but I was like, oh, they haven't updated the opening to include a bigger focus on the other main characters, by which I mean Gabumon and Yamato. But in general, I'm still surprised they haven't done anything with the opening, considering apparently we're meant to be getting a new ending song in like a few episodes' time. Like we're getting a new outro.
Huh.
It feels kind of weird that we have the same opening. And I don't know, it's still weird that they included TK and Kari, considering that...
I think they decided to do an old-fashioned adventure here and only change the ending, and so they came up with one that would nominally work the entire season.
Yeah, but like, I mean, they have updated it, but only to add those weird sound effects, which is still weird every week. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. It feels weird that they randomly added that in, like 20 episodes, like, or 15 episodes in. And I just, I do like that we're getting updated ending songs. I really hope that the ending song, the outro and animation is like the current one that we have, which showcases all the characters pretty well. I don't want it to be another sort of like, here's the Taichi and Yamato show ending. Like the first one was a very Yamato themed ending, which was weird because
we didn't really know him.
He wasn't really in it. Yeah, we didn't know him. We didn't know TK. We didn't have he didn't show up for like, I think it was 8 episodes. Like, I mean, he was kind of like in a couple of episodes, but he didn't like join the group until like episode 8, so that felt weird.
Maybe they just didn't want us to forget him.
And so I'm back to what I was saying. I'm just kind of, it feels weird that they haven't updated it, but so then we get a fairly quick last time on. So in comparison to last week's, this feels like a third of the length of last week's, which is fine. And then the episode starts. So the kids are retreating with the rising miasma, and I wish the show could decide whether or not we want to be dunked in miasma or not. Like,
so far, I'm leaning toward yes.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards you get upgrades if you jump in the miasma. And so it seems like less of something that you should want to avoid than more than like, I guess you're just treating it like water at this point. Like, it doesn't really do much. Like, it actually benefits you. They're just scared of having a bath, I guess. And yeah, so I don't know why we're still scared of Miasma.
I mean, I assume we're leading into something. Yep. What with the whole mind loss thing brought up in this episode.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And I keep on saying Don because I don't know why I keep on wanting to say Don Devimon. Yeah, he's Don Devimon. No, it's Dun.
Is
it's
it
Dun Devimon? And
would it be
he looks
Devimon?
Pretty cool. Done
Devimon.
Yeah. So well, when I first read the this episode title last week, I thought it was Dome Devimon. And I'm like, okay, Dome Devimon, but no, I guess Dun Devimon is like, it's his final form, so he's done. I don't know. I'm still kind of expecting him to come back and be a new evolution and be like, oh, I'm actually Mellow Dun Devimon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looks... I really adore Dun Devimon's design. I love how he's gone from kind of like... vocal and will talk and kind of like be intimidating and talk to you and be like kind of evil and talking to like mindless and manic laughter, which I kind of like that. Like he went from something quite intelligent to something quite bestial and like manic, and I love that. Like it's so like it's terrifying, and everything that Dun Devimon does in this episode is extremely terrifying and is much like as scary as, you know, a bad guy with some intelligence that can talk to you and like will be like vaguely evil, like how you should be seeped in darkness because I said so. But like he's just kind of like scary and crazy and just mad, and I absolutely adore that. And his design's really cool. It reminds me of Carnage from Spider-Man. Or
that's what I'm thinking of.
My first reaction was Venom, but then when I said it was Venom, people on Twitter were like, no, that's Carnage. I'm like, well, they both have long tongues and are evil looking, so I think I made a valid point that he has got the long tongue.
It's kind of like a mix of the two, because like Venom, the black symbiote, and Carnage is the red one.
Yeah. So in that case, he's a cross between the two.
Yeah, but he absolutely just looks like a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, he does, because he's got like I don't know, it's the tongue. Like I like his design, and also he's got really cool like weird miasma arms coming out of his back, which is also makes it look like a Spider-Man villain with the extra arms.
Yeah, it's also just a slightly better version of the thing we hated last week.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's fine.
Like, well, yeah, the badly drawn arms. What if the badly drawn arms were just Dun Devimon's, like, miasma arms? Like, that I hate less. Like, that was just sort of maybe foreshadowing, because otherwise the giant, badly drawn arms don't make sense, and it would make more sense if they were just sort of silhouettes of goo arms. Like, I'm happier with that.
Yeah.
And also, Dun Devimon is less weirdly sexy than Devimon, which I still maintain is weirdly sexy.
I mean, I could see where you're coming from. If
Devimon's
I
ripped,
get to
isn't
criticize the admittedly, creepy laughter and shit, like, I will admit you have a good point in that it kind of works for this episode, but I really wish that it didn't feel like we did this because we didn't want to have to explain anything about his apparent connection to Angemon and things of that nature. Instead, we got two different fights simultaneously between villains who cannot articulate a motive.
Yeah, it's also just Nidhogg again. Yeah. It's he evolved after being defeated and is now just a very dangerous hell beast that kind of is just there and doesn't do much except for is menacing and evil. Like, I know, I guess I'll say this now, but my slight dislike of this episode is not because it's a bad episode on its own, like in a vacuum. It's a fine episode on its own. It's just when you look at it in terms of it being the 24th episode, it just makes it a lot worse. I have a lot of complaints as to like the fact that one, we have a character, the bad guy, who's just evolved and has become something so dangerous that we have to trigger a magic evolution for, or I guess two in this case, and it's just something we've seen before. The fact that later on we can just sort of upgrade the Digimon just by saying their name, more or less, like, makes it kind of weird that in the Wegarurumon episode, and I made this I said this as a complaint point in that episode, like, either they are just deciding they can't evolve because of the plot, or it's something that has to be deserved. And a few people said, look, it's definitely deserved, so you can't criticize the episode because Metal Greymon didn't upgrade himself, because that's something that's clearly like a once-off or needs to be deserved or something. And then we have 2 episodes in a row, this episode and last week's episode, and I think it also happened in the episode before, where it was just like, you just say, like, oh, Waygurumon, oh, Metal Greymon, or just even look at the Digimon, and they are able to upgrade. So that makes it even weirder. In the Waygurumon intro episode, why didn't Metal Greymon become an upgrade? And I feel like a lot of this show is just hoping that you ignore the fact that they can evolve again. Like the whole, the 4 characters fighting Calmeramon and struggling and randomly realizing that they can evolve. It wasn't like there was a reason why they couldn't. They just weren't evolving. They were just struggling, which feels like, I don't know, it makes no sense why they couldn't evolve. So this episode, again, showing us that Metal Greymon can just upgrade himself randomly, just kind of hurts previous episodes. And it's just, I don't know. There's a bit that this episode introduces that makes previous episodes bad, or, well, not bad, but sort of worse, or makes this episode worse for confirming those sort of things. And it's also the fact that, like, I guess I'm a bit ahead of myself, but later on we have a scene where Yamato and Taichi are, like, charging at Devimon, and Taichi's thinking of Takeru and how, like, you know, and also none of this is said. Like, there's very little dialogue in this episode, which, you know, it can be a good or a bad thing. And I know that if there's a dub of this episode, they'll be talking through the entire thing, and sometimes that makes it better because there'll be silly puns. But anyway, so we have Taichi pushing Yamato off, which seems kind of violent, like he's just sort of pushing him off a giant flying dinosaur friend, but whatever. And this is, you know, implied because Takeru is alone, and, you know, he doesn't want him, like, to sacrifice himself because he's an older brother, which feels really weird because Taichi's also an older brother, and not once did he think of, like,
he didn't have to
people have criticized me. Yeah, like, people criticize me because of this, like, oh, you know, why should you think about Hikari? Hikari's not relevant. Like, yeah, but 1, we're likely going to see her soon, and 2, she
should be relevant.
It sort of made
to your thoughts.
It should have been relevant in the first season when Taichi doesn't mention that he has a sister until, like, he goes back home to see his sister in the original. Like, it's very much not referenced, but because we actually have seen Hikari in the opening, so we know that she's a chosen child. We know that she has a cat Digimon. We don't know anything about that in terms of this season, but the fact that she's been since episode 1 in existence feels just kind of weird that we have Yamato being, oh, I have to, like, get home to see my brother. I love my brother so much. Like, I don't know why we haven't had Taichi even consider the fact he has a sister, which, yeah, people have said that I'm nitpicking, like, why should he think about his sister? Because in the first few episodes, all he was thinking about was his sister and his mother being in danger, and wanting to, like, make sure they're okay and wanting to return to them. And now, the Taichi we have now is completely different to the Taichi we met at the start of the season. Like, it just feels weird that he is considering Takeru being Yamato's younger brother, instead of thinking that he has a younger sibling himself. It feels weird. It feels weird that the last time we saw Hikari's mother just sort of said, hey, children I don't know that are also 10 years old, can you look after this child? Yes, okay, see ya. And then we didn't see her again. So, like, that was weird, because I thought, oh, great, they're going to meet and they're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm Taichi's sister. I'm also Jesus. I can see magic flying feathers, and I know that Taichi's okay. I'm magic. Like, we're not going to address that? No. So a lot of this is sort of, we're just forgetting Hikari exists. Feels like, why did we introduce her in the first place if we're not going to make it a thing? At least with Yamato, it was sort of like a thing. And I know that's always been Yamato's thing, but when Hikari was relevant in the first season, it also became Taichi's thing. So it feels weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to Devimon being cool. Tokumon, and this is probably the only line of dialogue we have this episode. Tokumon says how this is the evolution that Devimon was aiming for, which feels like, okay, that makes sense. I gathered that from what Dark Knightmon said last episode and the episode title, but thank you for participating, Tokumon. Anyway, the protagonists nod at each other and run, and Takeru says Oni-chan twice because that's all he will ever say. And Metal Greymon magically evolves to Ultras mode, which is just... I don't know, I already went on about how this is weird, but it makes it feel so not earned and just so random that we can just magic an evolution whenever we want now.
It's not
And
really
then
an evolution, though, is it? I think that's what they're going for. It's just like, oh, it's like a tiny power buff where they get a slightly different weapon.
Yeah, which would be completely fine. Like, it's just the fact that it didn't happen in the Waigurumon upgrade episode, it just feels so weird that they can just magic it. Otherwise, I wouldn't care. Like, this would not be a point that I would make. Like, it's like, okay, they can just do it. That's fine. That's, that's just an evolution. But it is just so weird that they just had Waigurumon's episode and struggled and did not think of upgrading. It's just random. Anyway,
it definitely just feels like the writers just don't include it so that they're not taking the limelight away from Waigurumon, and that's like the only reason why Metal Greymon doesn't use his Alteros mode.
Yeah, but they didn't try. Just it feels weird. Yeah. Anyway, so the Miasma arms are attacking them, and this is when Taichi pushes Yamato off to his death, I guess, because they're quite high up. And then back to the characters I care about, we find that they're struggling against Algamon babies, which, by the way, so I'm not sure how up to date you are with virtual pet news, but we're having some... I think we're getting some some Digimon from Frontier in the virtual pets, and I think something along the lines of Calmaramon was just confirmed to be an adult level Digimon. So please consider how 4 adult level Digimon struggled to fight an adult level Digimon. Thanks, Digimon. The 4 other characters are really, really weak, I guess. So, yeah, they were struggling against the Algamon babies this time, and then Koshiro discovers that 2 tankers have collided, and apparently there's lots of these accidents across the world. This is great. I'm so glad that this is the only bit of the episode that they are relevant for.
Yeah.
Koshiro just telling us,
hey, we're screwed.
More danger.
Yeah. You know that thing we just spent
Things
3
are going
episodes
wrong.
trying to prevent? Well, we also didn't prevent 200 others.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
back to the people who are important.
I guess that... Yeah, like, it just... And that's all we get to see. Like, I liked how previously we were, like, going... Okay, we're going from this group to this group to this group to this group. I really liked that. I don't know why we are, we're just randomly sidelining them to just being some exposition, but also struggling against Digimon in a very our wargame style. Like, we already had the Algamon fight. Why are we doing this again? It feels weird. It feels like... weirdly put in because the characters needed to do something.
Yeah, it's very filler.
So
we didn't want to bring them into this, big important fight because why would we want to do that? So instead, oh wait, we already had them finish that fight. Oh, what if all the little tiny Digimon we could take out by the 1,000 are actually too much? Oh no. Anyway, bye.
And, I mean, I keep on, like, hoping, like, okay, this will be fine, provided that Yamato and Taichi get kidnapped and or put in danger or some way incapacitated or something. They're in danger, they need rescuing, and the other characters have to find out how to get back to the digital world and do something. I don't know, but we're just going to not do that apparently, because every time I think they're going to do that, we just have more Taichi and Yamato saving the day, and it just feels like they're definitely just trying to sideline the other 4 characters, and it just... I don't care about the same, like, oh no, there's tankers crashing into each other every episode, because that's all that we're getting now.
Yep. Friendship with
Do you
Joe,
remember...
Mimi, Sora, and Koshiro over Takaru is my new best friend.
Yeah.
Do you remember the whole, like, first 20 episodes of the series? We'd always get a few minutes of exposition just going back to the real world. Well, they sure sent everyone else in the cast back to the real world to be that side bit of exposition.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, I get that it's important to know, okay, how is what's going on in the digital world affecting the human world? And it is nice to see that, but I don't know, it's not worth just pacifying 4 other characters to do this. It's always a complaint I had with Adventure, that it tends to just go with, like, the only characters that are relevant are Taichi and Yamato and Takaru.
Occasionally. And
Koshiro as exposition and being the smart one, which is still what's happening, because when we get to see these rare human world moments, it's Koshiro that's talking. It's not anyone else. It's Sora, Mimi, and Joe are just sort of standing there. Sometimes they say their Digimon's name. It's just
they
it's
don't
just
get to do
weird.
anything particularly useful to the team other than be present.
Yeah, I think the Digimon said more than the kid.
They did. Yeah.
But,
I mean, I have a lot of nitpicks. Like, yep.
On the other hand, though, I'm glad that they didn't just keep going back and forth all the time, because I felt that would have just completely cut all momentum from this episode.
Oh yeah, I have to admit that that is true, but it feels like we're just doing the same thing each week. Like they're just there, and it's always a tanker, and there's always some vague accident, and they're always struggling.
I think
it makes them seem weak.
As someone that's never seen Dragon Ball, is this what the end of an arc in Dragon Ball is like?
Yeah, maybe. Like it's very shonen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I expected more because we were having such a good time having all the characters be relevant, or just having like okay, this is the main character for today, but everyone else is relevant. Like, and I was really enjoying that. It was setting a good standard for this season. Like, okay, where all the characters are important, but I don't know. I know we're probably talking about this for too long, but it is just my main point, and maybe it's because I like Mimi, Joe, and Sora, and Koshiro. I like them as characters, and I guess Koshiro usually is more relevant anyway because he's the exposition, he's the smart one, and it's not that. I mean, I know I can like things that are the Taichi Yamato show. I love Our War Game. Our War Game is my favourite Digimon movie. I even like Diaboromon Strikes Back, which was the weird sequel with the 02 kids. Like, I can like things that are the Taichi Yamato show, but at some point it just gets like, come on. Our War Game would have been so much better if Mimi, like, remoted in from Hawaii and was just like, okay, Palmon. Like, I don't think I'll be able to find this because this was like some fan art on Tumblr so long ago, but somebody had like, okay, AU, where the other characters are able to join in, and we have like Mimi from Hawaii. Hikari's using like an old computer at the party she's at. Joe has like finished his exam, and there's a computer room, and he's jumped on from there. And we have all the characters come in, and it was just like, I wish there was more fan art like that, because
God, can you just imagine how amazing a birthday party it would be if, one of your friends busted out magic powers during it?
Yeah.
On the other hand,
and also like,
what a bitch.
Yeah, like, okay.
Wow.
Gee, thanks Hikari. Way to and being Jesus. But yeah, like it's not something that's new. Having the Taichi Yamato show isn't new. It's just kind of what I'm sick of. It's a problem with Kazuna. It was a problem with a lot of adventure. Try did an okay job of not being the Taichi Yamato show for the most part. So good on Try. Like, a lot of the time I won't have that many good things to say about like Try, because only I particularly didn't enjoy the last 3 parts of it. But I just Try at least wasn't just, okay, Taichi and Yamato are the only ones who are relevant, and I hate that. So anyway, that was a weirdly long rant, and I apologize, but I'm really sick of having the 4 characters I like be not in existence. Alright, so back to the main characters. Where Gurumon mode changes and gets knocked out by Dun Devimon, and Don Devimon is... I'm saying Don again, aren't I? Dun Devimon is just laughing maniacally, and I'm just like, yes! Like, as much as I like an intelligent, like, sentient, like, vocal bad guy, like, I do kind of, like, appreciate when we get, like, just a bad guy, especially when it's just an evolution. Like, we have vocal Digimon, who evolves into just this mad Digimon of complete madness, who is just laughing. Like, I don't know why. I just weirdly appreciate it. We have Gabumon de-evolving, Wagerumon de-evolving to Gabumon, which, again, I'm not a big fan of the fact we're not de-evolving to baby. It just feels like, in training or anything that's other than the child/rookie. I don't know why, it just sort of... I've kind of been spoiled by how original adventure, okay, when we're perfect, we de-evolve to our in-training forms. Except if we're Angel Woman, then we'll just become our child forms. And then in 02, I liked how whenever they went back to the human world, they were their baby forms again. I just really appreciate it. I don't know why. I'm just such a big fan of when they de-evolve to a smaller form, and having them de-evolve to just their child form that's immediately useful, more or less useful in battle. It just feels kind of weird. Like they need to be drained of their power to become like a baby, and I don't know why we're not doing that. I know it's a nitpick. I know I have a lot of nitpicks. And I always said I don't want to compare this too much to the original because it's not the original. It's a complete reboot. But there's just some things that just sort of... I mean, overall, so far, I think it's better than the original adventure, but there's still some things that it just feels weird, if that makes sense. I'm again, a nitpick. So, we have Takeru crying and screaming on Nichan because, of course... Like, I don't think Taichi... I don't think Takeru has said much besides Onichan this episode, but at least we have Yamato saying more than just Takeru. Taichi runs after Yamato, and so does Takeru, and Dun Devimon, hopefully, he's just going to kill the children. And then when he goes to do that, Tokamon glows when Takeru is about to be hit, and there's a protection ball, which is definitely, like, that's definitely a new power, and I'm kind of a big fan of it. It, again, is showing that we have, like, Jesus Angel powers, which is fine. But I'm so glad it came out of Tokamon and not Takeru. I would have been so annoyed if it was just, oh, Takeru's magic too! Like, I'm just so glad it came out of the actual Holy Digimon, who apparently has memories of being the Holy Digimon, which I guess is maybe related to the fact that Tokamon met his partner as the Holy Digimon and that, like, helped having the memories or something. I think that's something that was canon in the original series. I don't know. I'm just pulling things out at this point in time. But, yeah, anyone else like the protection ball? Because I actually do like the protection ball.
I don't hate it, but I am kind of over Jesus powers. And I don't know, I'm feeling a little ambivalent about Takeru simultaneously being the most important character and also the character we care least about allowing to speak.
Yes. Glad Tokamon has a voice that now, though, is able to talk.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the lack of dialogue just kind of hurts this episode all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I know that it's, tense. They don't have much time to, like, sit down and, like, have a friendly discussion. So, but as I said earlier, if we get a dub, I just know we're just going to have, like, oh, Dun Devimon ate Taichi like my Uncle Frank at Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I don't know, just some random sort of, like, weirdly placed, like,
wrong.
Come on, too soon. He just got eaten. Like, these random sort of bits of puns. I don't know if there's going to be a dub of this season, because there wasn't one of Atmon, and Atmon Seal really deserves an English dub. But if there's an English dub, it'd be really interesting to see how they do this episode. I feel like this episode in English might be better. Like, I know that if I was a dub writer, I would find all the points that I have complaints about where they don't give a reason for something and just fill in a line there, because sometimes the dubs do that. Sometimes the Digimon dubs are good with doing that. It's not always just silly lines, and a lot of people don't give the credit the dub deserves sometimes. Like, in 02, they were surrounded by bad guys, and I think it was Daisuke that said in the dub, why are they surrounding us? Why don't they just attack? Because it was just like a dramatic moment, and they just paused there and just stood there for like a minute, and it was funny. I appreciate that. I want some of that. Like, imagine if Taichi think like, oh, I can only imagine what a brother would be like without, like, being there for his sibling, and I've got to think about mine too, or something. I don't know, just put in a dumb line there. You make this episode, like, so much better. But yeah, it wasn't a dialogue-heavy episode, but then again, there's not a lot of time that they could have spoken in this episode. It would have been all internal monologue, which is, I'm assuming, what a dub would do. Again, there's no dub is being confirmed, but that's what I feel like a dub would do. I know I'm just ranting and rambling at this point, but I have a lot of feelings.
Yeah, I feel like if you were going to have the bad guy not be able to talk anymore, you need to make up for that at least a little bit with, your own characters talking at least a little bit, maybe coordinating what they're doing, something.
Considering, like, Devimon was the exposition dude, he didn't stop talking.
Yeah.
Like, he was just always talking, like, here's vague exposition about darkness, the light. I don't know. Also, where did Skull Knightmon go?
Yeah, that's a fair
I don't know.
Fair point. I think he ran off with the giant crystal.
Yeah, he ran off with what must be Moon Millenniummon or something. What if... Okay, this is probably weird. What if Rio is Dark Knightmon? Yes. Okay, this is canon now. I feel like this show can still go somewhere really, really great, but
I'm sorry, if Skull Knightmon's anyone, it's gonna be Koichi.
Oh
no.
Am I wrong?
Gross.
I mean, I still want this to be like a stealth, like either sequel or probably sequel to Frontier. Maybe prequel, but I'd say that a sequel would make more sense because then we wouldn't have to do any weird time things. Frontier could still be in 2004.
Yeah.
And then this season's in 2020. I would just... And then we see the original Chosen Children and they're the Frontier kids. Yes!
No. That would be pretty great.
And we still have... But, okay, it's only 2 Frontier kids because they're the only ones that matter. Well, 2.5. One is relevant-ish.
One has to be yelled at and have a really bop song.
Yeah. I don't know. And then after this, we can just do Frontier again. Frontier deserves a reboot because it could just be so good. Like, imagine Frontier but good. These writers, they don't get to work on it because they'll just do the same thing of like, let's sideline half, like, the majority of the cast.
Yeah.
Like, I would just...
So I was
Frontier
trying to say
could be
earlier,
so good.
I feel like if you are going to, give no particular reason for sidelining the cast, I mean, oh no, too many tiny little Digimon. Just have those 4 watch a video of this, because Izzy did it somehow. And at least then you can get reaction shots.
Yeah, or like trying to work out how to get to the digital world. Like, I know they've got a lot to worry about. Fights, like trying to save whatever's happening to all these tankers that are randomly deciding to collide. I know that they've got that to worry about, but it just feels kind of weird that the whole time they're just like, hey, I wonder if, Taichi and Yamato are dead. Like, I don't know, they've only had, like, patchy communication with them.
Yeah.
Or have them communicate somehow. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Anyway, so Taichi takes a page out of Takeru's book and becomes motivated and angry and screams stop because...
That's what he does?
Takeru couldn't do that. Yeah. And then Tokemon's magic ball stops and Taichi is angry, and so far it just reminds me of... I thought it was going to be a Takato-like Dark Evolution when Taichi says, look, Metal Greymon, you have to evolve again. And I was actually impressed that the reason that we got a Dark Evolution wasn't because of something that the tamer, or the chosen child, or the partner human said or did. It was actually the emotion of the Digimon, which that's going to be a first for. Yeah, it's usually the feeling of the corruption or the emotion that's coming from the human. Like in the original adventure, Taichi wanted to protect his friends and felt like he was the only one who could do it because he was the only one who had his crest so far. So he wanted to save his friends because he thought he was taking that all upon himself and was really stressed out because of that. And then we didn't have one in 02. We should have, because Davis was just abusive to Vemon and was like, hey, evolve, look, I'm in danger, evolve. We didn't have one there. It's weird.
Could you count the Digimon Emperor as being Ken's Dark Digivolution?
Well, I guess him personally, but not his Digimon.
Yeah, Wormmon never gets one, unfortunately, but at least
Wormmon was always good.
Yeah, well, and they gave us a nice, Ken just legitimately doesn't care about Wormmon, which kind of worked as far as an explanation. He literally never tried.
Yeah, and like, I remember being as a kid when I was watching 02, I was surprised that Wormmon was his partner, even though it's very obvious that Wormmon is his partner. Finding out that they were like, he was a chosen and Wormmon was his partner was like this really emotional part when I was like a kid, because that was a surprise, but as an adult, it's like, it's extremely obvious. But I don't know.
Yeah, that and like,
especially because he has an old Digivice.
You're supposed to be coming at this from the point of view of someone who has played the Wonder Swan games, which is a really wild assumption to make about people watching 02.
Yeah.
They
must, like, people who played the Wonder Swan games must have completely just marked out when they were watching Tamers and having Rio there, even though we saw him in 02, like, oh!
Yeah, that must have been
like,
awesome.
I don't know.
Like, oh.
Like, that must have been really cool.
No, that's great.
Like, the thing is, and I know we're getting slightly off topic, but Rio showing up in 02 is a moment that a lot of people just don't remember. Like, I didn't remember as a kid. I thought that... I saw these screenshots and I just thought they were just random, like, ones that were from the Wonder Swan game that they just sort of put in there. No, he's actually there. And a lot of people will, like, I was talking to some friends, I think the other week, or maybe last week, and we were talking about how Ryo was in Adventure, and then people were saying, oh, yeah, he was in our war game. I'm like, no. I mean, he was, but he was also in 02. And they're like, no, he's not. And I put up the screenshots, and he's there in 2 scenes. And a lot of people just because it's just, he's not the focus, but he's definitely
he's
there.
He's a little bit blink and you miss it.
You
Like, they don't give him a name or anything. They don't draw attention to the fact. But then, yeah, we just never talk about him.
I don't know how I just didn't pick that up, because we see another human in the digital world, and we just never get any context for that. Like, no one picked it up because it was just so fast, and I guess that's good, because then you don't have all these questions, like, who is that random human? Why is he never given a character? And then I guess you're a kid, so you forget by the time we get to Tamers. But anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about anymore.
Dark Evolution.
Yeah, Dark Evolution. So yeah, then we had Takato, who
do you have a little too much
again triggered
today,
I'm allergic. Oh. No, I have a lot of emotions. I did just take my medication like 10 minutes before the podcast, so that might be the wakefulness medication.
That may be it, yes.
Because otherwise I'd be falling asleep, and that wouldn't be fun. Like
you are talking 10 miles a minute today, and it's kind of adorable.
Well, I'm glad you think that, because I think some weeks I don't take my medication until after the podcast, which is a mistake, because the doctor said I should take this every day if needed. It's one of those cool ones where I can just not take, but also shouldn't not take it. Excuse the double negative. Anyway, Dark Evolutions. Tamers had Takato saying, look, you have to evolve, and that was out of the desire for revenge. Like, he wanted Beelzemon's blood, basically. He wanted his head on a stick. Like, he was angry because his girlfriend's pet cat just got murdered by this giant demon.
Fairness.
And he wanted revenge. And then Frontier, well, there was no Digimon partner in Frontier, but it was just him not being able to control his beast spirit. That thing that was only relevant for the boys, and that was probably the one thing I like about Frontier, where they said, oh, girls are just more mature, so like, she can just control her beast spirit. Yep. And I've seen some people say, oh yeah, because girls are something, girls are emotional, something, girls know how to control the crazy. And I'm just like, just try to put in a positive spin on this. Like, she can control this because, like, really, the beast spirit is just puberty.
You not wrong.
And she's just on that because she's like 12, and she's something puberty metaphor, something. They let the girl character be good at something.
I actually think
in the whole show
might have done that. Wild.
Yeah, like vague puberty metaphor, whatever. But anyway, so that was the thing. And then in Savers again, we had Masaru being extremely emotional. I think it was because Toma had like an almost betrayal, and then he got like kind of heartbroken that his boyfriend betrayed him like this, and had a dark evolution. But all the time it was a dark evolution from the emotions of the human. And what was the motivation for a fall down mode? I think it was just Hikari saw her brother die or something.
Yeah, trauma.
Yeah. So it's always been trauma from the human, and it's not always just like complete corruption or hate or evil from the human. It's they wanted to, that they felt like they had to evolve, and they felt like so. I mean, I guess with Masaru, which was just rage. Like, Masaru was just the only one who was just like absolute rage. I guess Takato as well, but Takato at least wanted just revenge. I don't know, but it felt kind of nice that we actually get the cause of the Dark Evolution is because Devimon eats Taichi, and Metal Greymon is overcome with such anguish and pain and other negative words, and evolves to Megendramon. And it's just really nice. And we have Tokumon being sad. It's like, oh, what if he becomes just like Devimon? And I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting point. I'm glad that Tokumon's the only one who's allowed dialogue, because he's making some good points. But yeah, so we get Mugendramon, but for some reason he's just a weird gradient of like red. Like, he's not like full color. Like, I'm not sure if that means that we'll get him again and he'll be more in control, or if Mugendramon we're actually getting as a bad guy and he'll be in full normal color. I don't know why they chose like the red tinge. It just looks like he's just not colored in.
Some artistic decision to be like, he is angry. Look how red he is.
Yeah. And then there's the contrast with, I guess, spoiler for like 10 minutes, when Wargreymon shows up, he is a yellow gradient, so it's just sort of, we can't be bothered colouring it today, which is fine because the animation quality was actually pretty okay. I'm not sure if it's actually good or if it's just in comparison with previous weeks. The animation, especially Tokemon's evolution later on, it's pretty well animated compared to everything else. So, Dun Devimon walks backwards and he's cackling, and Mugenjamon is just biting him while doing so, and it's really cool. Like, I really love this scene. Like, it shows, like, a perfect, like, a bit of almost like a contrast between them. Like, they're both just crazy and just attacking wildly. There's no, like, strategy between how they're fighting. Like, Dun Devimon is just cackling and moving and just laughing, and Mugenjamon is just attacking madly and wildly without any precision, and he's just kind of missing, and he's kind of like just biting him. And I don't know, Mugenjamon is actually one of my favourite Digimon. I absolutely love him. He's like, I love raising Mugenjamon on any of my virtual pets. I really like Mugenjamon. I'm really thrilled that we got a new Gunpla and it's Mugenjamon, and I guess this is kind of why we got random Mugenjamon when we're just getting Wargreymon and Metal Garurumon and Omegamon. We're just getting Mugenjamon Gunpla now. And it's just, I love Mugenjamon so much, but I was like kind of like, oh, this is kind of like a crappy debut for Mugenjamon. Anyway, so Tokamon gets mad.
What we do if we even still have Dark Masters in this, if it's gonna matter that, we already had a Mugendramon.
I think the bad guys are all, from now, are going to be different. Like, I think Devimon was just sort of like which is kind of weird. We had Devimon for so long, and
yeah, we're like almost halfway.
I was like, oh, he must be really strong. Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's evolved twice, and we don't even care anymore. Like, that felt weird. But I think we're going to have, like, different bad guys now. I think Skull Knightmon's going to be a thing. I guess Moon Millenniummon, like, that, looking at it, the crystal did have, like, that sort of, like, I'm going to say fish, because that's all I can think of, like, the little guy in the middle of the crystal, which is Mugendramon's, not Mugendramon, Millenniummon's face. Which, I just remembered something. Millenniummon, in this is a bit of lore from the WonderSwan games, so probably just, ramblings of a mad person. Millenniummon is actually, when Chimeramon got, like, salty, he died, he went back in time and jogressed with Mugendramon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Millenniummon is here, like, I guess, with the Moon Millenniummon being in the gemstone.
Possibly.
So I'm just trying to, like, does Agumon become Mugendramon again and then Jogress with Chimeramon to be Millenniummon, and then Millenniummon send himself back in time for all of this to happen? What if all of this is according to Keikaku?
Incredible. All of this is according to WonderSwan. And it just turns out
like,
these are
this was
it.
Like, when Skull Knightmon was all like, ha ha ha, new evolution, mwahahaha, he wasn't talking about Dun Devimon, he was actually talking about Mugendramon, because he needed Mugendramon to happen so that Millenniummon can happen, because that's canonically where Millenniummon comes from. He is a Jogress between
Rio. It's all coming together.
And then, like, all of this has some weird time travel, and then it would make sense if we have 24 episodes, because we have to do the 02 kids, so...
Let's please not.
I don't know.
This sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know, but canonically, we can't have Millenniummon without Mugendramon and Chimeramon, so...
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong.
I think...
I'm also not sold on Mugendramon, on Millenniummon.
Maybe we're not going to do 02, maybe we're going to get Chimeramon in here some other way. But if we do have Millenniummon, it is kind of weird we're getting Mugendramon. Like, not the Dark Masters Mugendramon, so it's a little bit different. Like, specifically, Millenniummon was Mugendramon, and then Chimeramon just being salty and going back. Have you ever been so salty at something you go back in time?
Not for lack of trying, but no.
Yeah, but that's what happens. You go back in time, and then you Jogress. But yeah, what if? Like, I came up with, like, this very weird, I'm doing weird theories, so I have this theory that this is actually, like, the last Digimon anime that we're going to get, because it feels like there's so many things being shoved in from different parts of the franchise. It feels like a goodbye from the franchise, if that makes sense. Like, having characters from all across the seasons, like, including Cross Wars, including Frontier, and even the Wonderswan games and V-Tamer. Like, Neo Devimon hasn't showed up in anything except for V-Tamer. We have Moon Millenniumon only showing up in the Wonderswan games. And the Digimon Pendulum Cycle, but who cares about what Bandai Asia has to release? So, like, yeah, just, it feels like a goodbye. And what if we're doing, like, where this is all just this combines all of the adventure series, and then it's just with things from the other seasons, and it's just a goodbye. I don't know. That was so those are my weird theories for this week. I'm sorry, that's all I have. But I'm now very much, like, focusing on the weird Millenniumon, Mugendramon thing that might be going on here. I'm probably wrong, because that sounds like a little too in-depth for what I can expect from Digimon. But what if? What if, y'all? What if?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're giving them too much credit.
In the plot. Yeah, I am definitely giving them too much credit. And also, like, why would they just end the anime? It makes money. But also, so do the virtual pets. Also, they're releasing this, there's this weird thing that's going to be, like, revealed in 20 days. It's called Digital Monster VB. Everyone's saying it's a new virtual pet, but I'm fairly convinced it's just going to be an app, because they make money, and you don't have to spend as much money in distributing them, so...
Yeah, we'll see. They've definitely been going for the people who will spend a ridiculous amount of money market, but I could definitely see them deciding an app is the way to go during COVID.
Yeah. Like, VB could also, like, stand for Virtual Battler, so I think it's going to be, like, something that you can battle people online with, so that would make sense for an app, or maybe it's something that you can connect it's going to be
a Vein Boy, possibly advanced.
Oh no, a Vein Boy sounds terrifying. Like,
sounds like
I'm not sure how, like there's something in the virtual pet, like, Digimon community called the DCOM, which is something that, like, you put it's made from an Arduino, and you basically can connect a Digimon virtual pet up to it with 2 or 3 prongs, and it reads the signals that comes from it. So what you can do is you can battle other people using this thing. So what if they're just releasing, like, an official version of that's not just a fan-made one?
I'd be down.
I don't know. I have a lot of theories. So, yeah. Sorry, again, weird tangents, because I have so many theories about the direction of this show, because... I don't know. This episode, the more I think about it, has a lot of questions that are probably just going to be ignored and just going to be disappointing in a few episodes. And I'm going to have another episode like, wow, this episode wasn't bad. But when you think about it, it doesn't answer anything that I already want. So, anyway. So, there was plot happening. So, Tokumon gets mad and cries and opens his mouth, and all of a sudden there's teeth. I'm glad he finally did that. I think this is the first time in this show. Then he asked Taku to help him. And then we have another shot of Tokumon's teeth when he's kind of just got his mouth slightly open, but they're small. I don't understand, like, does Tokumon have retractable teeth? Because he must do. And then we get some, like, a vision or someone astral projecting or something, and then some Jesus power, and then Angemon shows up. And it then tells Mugendramon to not let anger consume him and to calm down. Which, whenever I'm in a bad mood, that works. Like, someone saying, hey, you're letting your anger consume you, calm down, sounds so patronizing.
No one has ever calmed down as a result of being told to calm down.
Like, I don't know, I kind of just wanted Mugendramon to just open his mouth and just eat Angemon, just because, like, that's, if I was that annoyed, and, like, I just saw...
one character this episode. I don't know if we can go that far.
Yeah. I think it was Gleaming Glamour. I think Glamour.
Yeah, Amy.
I'm bad. Said on Twitter. So I heard you wanted Digivore. I'm like, oh, not like this. But anyway, so I don't know. Whenever someone tells me to calm down and letting anger consume me, I just do want to unhinge my jaw and eat them. Like,
that's a move.
That is the response that I expected. And then we have some body horror, which is kind of cool. We have Agumon's face merging out of Mugendramon, and it is so cool and so creepy and disturbing and horrifying, but I love it. And then he's just remembering Taichi, and he bursts out of Mugendramon, and this is a really, really great scene. And Mugendramon bursts into light, and that hurts. It hurts Dun Devimon, because magic light is painful. And then we get War Greymon, and he destroys Dun Devimon in one episode, because of course he does. And then he rescues Taichi. And so next we see Tokamon being Tokamon, so I guess Angemon was just like a ghost or like some weird projection. And then Tokamon evolves to Patamon, and the evolution sequence is very cool. And again, slight body horror. Tokamon stretches out, and his ears stretch out, which is... I love this. Like, it is slightly disturbing, but big fan. And we get Patamon, and it's just... I don't know. I love this. I love Patamon in this so far. He's just adorable.
Yeah. Patamon good.
Like... Yeah, and then we have Agumon being Agumon again, not Koromon or an egg, which, I don't know, I like when we get dark evolutions when the Digimon then becomes an egg, like in Sabers. I really liked how they handled, we got a dark evolution, but then Agumon became an egg, and then we had like this sad moment of, what if he doesn't remember me? What if he evolves differently? He doesn't, spoilers, but I don't know. And then we get Agumon's stomach rumbling or something, because of course we do. And then the earth starts shaking and the episode ends because that's just how things go. I don't think we're going to get a new evolution from Devimon, but like, who knows? And I feel like I can predict that Quinn liked this part, but we get introduced to Garudamon in the encyclopedia, and then Koshiro wonders if Garudamon's long hair gets in the way, and then, this is the part that I think Quinn will probably enjoyed, wonders, saying how Tentomon was saying that he wants long hair too. I don't know why I thought that Quinn would appreciate that, but it is great. Like, I kind of like, I want to see Tentomon with long hair. Like, or like, you know how like Chimeramon has like Kabuterimon's head and kind of like a mullet? What if like Kabuterimon just had a mullet? I don't know. And then we have Atla Kabuterimon next time, so we get we're gonna have Koshiro being adorable again. Yeah. So yeah, that's the episode. Highlights. What were our highlights?
Devimon had a pretty cool design.
Oh yeah, I adore Devimon. I like the animation, but I loved Devimon. Like, that was my main highlight. Like, this kind of... And also, my other main highlight, which is again, I guess falls under Devimon, but the fact that the children were actually in danger. Devimon tried to attack Takaru, but then the Jesus Orb protected him. Then we have Devimon actually just straight up eating Taichi. Like, that was... I like when the humans are in danger because it doesn't happen as often as you'd think in Digimon. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish Tai had actually died, but, you know, we were never going to get that.
No.
You could only ask for so much.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going to get Mugendramon again for Millenniumon, again, yes, Maison with this again, what if we get Mugendramon again because Taichi just straight up dies?
I'd be kind of down.
Like, I think Toei's being a bit weird with how they just really want Taichi to be the main character but also die. Remember Try?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, I was thinking about while I was watching this that I want a version of O2 where Ken just is okay with using the Miasma to do dark evolutions because they're stronger or whatever, and just goes from being a good character to, you know, explicitly and not because of mind control actually bad.
Well, yeah, when are we going to, like, get a character say, hey, what if this miasma's good? What if we just use this to evolve and then ends up getting a dark evolution? Yeah, eat miasma, that's funny.
You're welcome.
I like that. I think that's an episode title right there. That's pretty good. I was just going to call it Done... Like, I always come up with, like, usually a fairly bad episode title, and I never go with these because they're usually fairly bad, and we usually come up with something a lot better. Like, last week's would have been Their War Game, and this week I had it down as LostinTranslationmon, but, yeah, I just...
Eat Miasma. I'm pretty here for it.
Eat Miasma's really good. I'm writing that down. That's good. But, yeah, so, any other highlights?
Patamon's here. That's it. Patamon's here.
Yeah, Patamon good.
That is a highlight. Like, Patamon being in existence is good. The evolution was pretty well animated. I'm really glad that Patamon's here. I wonder when we're going to get an evolution to Angemon, if it's going to be like not for 15 episodes like in the original, or if we're going
I feel like we're gonna get right back there. The show has not been shy of evolutions.
The thing that kind of annoyed me about the original was the fact that Patamon was just a baby for so long and kind of useless, and then didn't evolve until the Miasma arc. So Angemon actually only evolved like 4 times throughout the show. Well, Patamon only evolved to Angemon like 4 times throughout the show, and Angemon only evolved to like Holy Angemon like twice.
Yeah.
No, once.
Twice.
Yeah, once.
Also against
No, because Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I forgot that existed. Yeah, but yeah, so that kind of felt weird. I guess you have to nerf them, but it never made sense about why in character they would nerf him. Like, I know from he is extremely powerful. He is basically the only one who can semi 1v1 Angemon. Not Angemon, Devimon. So I guess it makes sense to kind of nerf him in terms of the plot, because otherwise we just have this really overpowered angel. But we never got reasons for why in character that he had to be nerfed, other than, oh, he's a baby, but we can evolve. Yeah, but he's a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, you could sort of make an argument with, oh yeah, they just died, that does that. But, I don't know, you're not wrong that it was, really just there so that they must have planned from the beginning that Takaru would be literally the last hope. And
yeah.
God, that's such a terrible
also
plan.
Hikari being Hikari's the last light.
Yep.
And, I thought that Hikari would have shown up to be the magic to calm down Agumon, but it was...
Yeah, something.
Jesus Takaru instead.
Girls don't
I'm
get
still
to do
waiting
things.
for Hikari to show up. It feels weird. Why is she not... I don't know. It feels weird that we're just sort of going to ignore that Hikari exists, and every so often we'll give her,
a line
a
of
weird,
weirdness.
vague...
Yeah.
Yeah, it just... But maybe, it's going to suck when she shows up. Maybe she's just going to be like, hey, Hikari, how did you get to the digital world? I don't know. Okay. Do you know what the digital world is? I don't know. Do you know about anything? I don't know. Here, have this glowing feather. I'm magic. I don't know. I feel like that...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope.
Or light.
Or light. Yeah. Any other highlights besides, I guess, animation being good, Devimon being creepy, and Patamon existing?
No.
No?
We've gone through a lot of it.
Lowlights? Yeah, I think a lot of our highlights and lowlights were discussed when we were talking about the episode. Lowlights, I don't know, I feel like I've already very much exhausted the lowlights, but the main takeaway being, come on, why sideline those characters? It feels weird. They're just struggling against weak Digimon, more or less, because... Or maybe it wasn't the virtual pets. Maybe Calmaramon was confirmed to be an adult because of the card games, because the next set's going to be beast spirits and human spirits. But all I know is Camelamon was confirmed as an adult-level Digimon, and that kind of annoys me. They were struggling and not evolving against an adult level. I don't know. Stop sidelining these characters. Give them something to do. I mean, I know they've given them something to do, but it just feels kind of the same.
It's literally
every
the
week
same,
now.
but more, and also we already failed, so nothing we can actually do at this point helps much.
Yeah, everything just makes them look very weak, and I don't know. But that's my main.
I really went into this episode expecting those kids to need to do something. Oh my god, Devimon is so strong. Hit the thing in the internet to make him devolve or something. Not just, what if we just outstatted him again?
I was just hoping that, Taichi did fail, and we could still get a Dark Evolution, but, it still wasn't enough to defeat Devimon, because Mugenjamon's just kind of, rampant and out of control and evil, and
missing
they're in
the
such
big
danger
power cannon from his back.
Yeah, not just biting, it actually as a threat. And then the other kids have to work out a way, and then the next few episodes would be them coming to rescue them and then saving them because Mugenjamon is evil and something's wrong with Taichi or something. But no, we're not going to get that. They're just going to sit there on the bench as bench warmers still. Not with Hikari, just with them. And the next time on preview didn't fill me with any hope.
I didn't even watch it this week.
It's more Tai and Yamato.
Yeah,
It
haven't had
looks
enough
like
of that.
Devimon's done, and now they're
he's
just gonna go to new place.
Yeah, we're going to new place now. Can't wait. Any other lowlights?
No.
No?
Yeah. I guess from the end thing that I'm watching right now, I guess Leomon is still alive. That's almost a highlight.
Yeah, so, I mean, Leomon's coming back, but, I don't remember him ever leaving. I feel like he was just sort of there watching, and
he wasn't anymore.
And then wasn't. Yeah, so I think Leomon... I don't know, when is Leomon dying? Next episode? I don't know. Can we even count if he's not even in the episodes?
No, I've been keeping track of Leomon's total screen time.
Okay, because, at least he's finally going to be back. That felt like a big moment when he showed up. Not just for people who know who Leomon is, but also the fact that we learnt about Leomon, in episode, 11?
Give or take, yeah.
I guess how he's leading a resistance against Devimon. I don't know, I guess he should be emotional because, like, this is his purpose to defeat Devimon. Devimon's kind of dead. I can't believe he wasn't even involved in that. That felt weird.
We had a lot
I miss
of people
Ogumon when
should have been involved.
I'm also kind of mad that we got War Greymon
kinda
somewhat showing up. I kind of wanted it to be Ogumon's ultimate form shows up, and then we get an evolution to fight that, and it's just kind of like just a really nice, wholesome battle again, where they're just like, we're rivals, but we love each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
are we
this
ready to move on?
like Agumon Digivolve without Taichi.
Yeah, I wanted that.
That's definitely something I liked, like the ability to, and also especially the dark evolution being caused by the Digimon, not necessarily the partner, is definitely something that's different for all the other seasons. So I appreciated that, but yeah, there's just a lot of things that, because of previous episodes, makes this episode not as good. And like, if I'm not nitpicking, I was bored. Like it was very much just like, oh, it's just a fight. Like there were bits that I did like, but yeah,
it's just more fight.
The episode was, it's just more fight, and we've had that.
And that's part of where
and I know
I
there's
think doing the by the way, Devimon can't actually talk anymore really hurts things, because we never really got a good motive out of Devimon, even after he went with suggesting there's some kind of relationship with Angemon.
I'm still like hoping that we get something about that. Like, I don't think we will now because he's dead. Like, these characters seem to forget about things that exist unless they're relevant, or except if, like, I really miss like a prophecy happening to cause the evolution. Like, I mean, I know I complain about prophecies all the time because they're really badly done in Digimon. They're always like, oh, there's a prophecy that only became relevant now, so I'm mentioning it now. Like, it would have been so much nicer if we have Koshiro discovering a prophecy or getting like an IM from Genai, and then Koshiro sends a message to Taichi or whatever saying, oh, by the way, here's how we can win, or something. I don't know, it just felt... These evolutions felt like, I don't know, War Greymon felt kind of unearned. I don't know.
It really did, especially just as, oh, by the way, here's your consolation prize after the Dark Evolution.
Yeah. Or, and this is like the only way that like I will stop complaining, is that this War Greymon wasn't actually Agumon. Like, this was the spirit of the War Greymon that saved the world previously.
Maybe.
Like, when... Like, you know how we had Omegamon, and then Agumon couldn't remember becoming Omegamon, even though we know that it was Omegamon from the previous fight, and the Digimon sort of had their had some memories, because when they were watching the Veldemon giving like that image of all the Digimon being their fully evolved forms and then dying, like, they were all crying, so they still have some vague memories that they don't quite know about. So the only thing that like makes me not like makes it a little less anticlimactic of like, oh, we get to Ultimate now, is that we didn't actually get to Ultimate, and this is why it was in a yellow gradient color, and this was kind of just Angemon caused like the spirit of Agumon and the previous he went to the avatar state basically and was able to communicate with the other avatars. Like, it was just there. If does that make sense at all?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and that would be interesting. That said, I am not confident that we will ever do anything with that except explain that Omegamon just happens sometimes and we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't think we're going to get a Megamon again because Angemon is no longer the holy Digimon. Or maybe he's still the holy Digimon. I don't know, this episode kind of made it feel kind of vague.
Yeah, I think that they will bring back Omegamon anytime they feel like the ratings are dipping, and it sucks to kind of realize that.
I don't want that. But, so are we ready to move on to favourite character, or do we still have more high or low lights?
I think I'm ready to move on.
Steve, you ready?
I was
okay,
supposed to have
my
plans
favorite...
at past, but...
Okay,
so...
well, we can wrap up very soon. We'll just sort of burn through the rest of this. So my favourite character was Devimon. I really do like myself like a crazy manic bad guy. Stevie?
Yeah, I agree. Devimon was like one of the only good parts of this episode.
Kabuterimon for wanting long hair.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm going to write that down as Tentomon for Quinn, since we're sort of just merging all the Digimon that evolve. Even though I've already said Devimon, I'm just including Dundevimon as a separate one because it was different. I'm only including the partner Digimon. So, Stevie, you're going for Dundevimon, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For episode rating, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. It was better than last week for me, but not enough for it to be that much better. Like, I still had I probably have more complaints about this episode than last week, but I think this episode was a little bit better enough to be slightly better, but still a 3 out of 5. Stevie, what are we giving this episode?
I think I really enjoyed watching it. Looking back on it is not as good.
Yeah, that's every week though. Every week I feel like talking about it, I feel like I hate it more.
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly criticisms from May that has dragged it down a bit. But
I'm sorry,
actually watching it, I was going to give it a 4.5, so I'll give it a 4.
That's fine.
I'm going to go 2.75. It was a little bit better than last week, but not by that much.
I hate that 0.75s and 0.25s sort of thing.
Sometimes you need, like, I would give this episode a 3.1, but I feel like a 3 just fits fine. So that means that this episode got a 9.75, which means nothing else has got a 9.75 because we don't always give 0.75s, but that means that it's just under episode 11 in our overall ranking, which I will do quickly now. Put that in there. Oh, that's not the right episode. That's the right episode. I always do this. Okay. In terms of our overall ranking, I'm putting it in 18th place, so underneath episode 8, The Children's Siege, but above last week's episode, The Messenger of Darkness, Devimon. Stevie, where are we putting episode 24?
I'll put it in 4th place.
Cool. That's good. So it has slapped episode 1 down, which is good, because it's kind of weird that we have episode 1 just sort of hanging up at the top there. That's pretty good.
I think Paimon turned up. What do you expect?
Better than episode 12, though. Wow.
How's Paimon?
My top episode is still episode 12 on my ranking. Anyway, Quinn, where are we putting episode 24?
I think I'm gonna go with between 4 and 23. So what is that? Like 6th from the bottom?
Yeah, I've got it. So that's in 19th place for Quinn, 18th place for me, and 4th place for Stevie.
Yeah.
And overall, it's in 17th place overall because so I guess that's kind of where like the average episodes are going. Like I include that with the middle because that's where all the middle episodes are gone.
Yeah. I just enjoyed this so much because I felt like I didn't know what was going to happen.
Fair.
Which is refreshing watching a reboot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I hope and I think that the next episodes are going to be since I think we're done with Devimon, I feel like it's going to be more new stuff. I think at least. All right, let's go through the questions. First of all, I kind of want to introduce a new-ish topic, a new-ish like semi-segment, which is kind of inspired from Stevie last week asking us how we were doing. So like, what if we just had our own questions? But I guess since Stevie has to go soon, I will ask my question quickly and I guess people can ask their own. My question was, because I thought of this because of a recent addition to Rearise, if you had a Jesus Angel-powered Digimon evolution form for your partner Digimon, who would it be? So any angelic Digimon. Do people have answers, or am I the only one who...
I'm going to go with Marine Angemon.
Has an easy answer?
I'm going to go with Marine Angemon.
Oh, yes! I love Marine Angemon. Stevie?
I'd go with Anja Enbimon.
Which one?
Anja Enbimon.
Oh, you made it. You made a new one.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good idea. I dig that. I came up with Godramon, which is just kind of like the yellow masculine version of Holydramon, and this was primarily because Rearise introduced Godramon, and it evolves from Airdramon to Megadramon to Godramon, and I'm just like, oh, that's great. That is absolutely great. I love that.
That's fair.
Like, yeah, Airdramon, yay! And that's just me being boring. Does anyone have any of their own questions, or are we short on time?
Why do you think Patamon is the best?
Why do I think what?
Patamon is the best.
I know he's very cute. It's just, he's cute, but he's also he evolves into something that's very powerful. And it's kind of like that small things come in, like, small things come in small packages. Well, yes, good things come in small packages sort of thing. He's just cute. Tokumon's cute, Patamon's cute, and then he becomes like a strong, sexy angel. So yeah, Patamon's got a lot to, a lot of good parts. And also Godramon evolves from, is an alternate to Serafimon.
I'm gonna go with because Laura
That's
Summer.
all I needed.
Because Laura Summer.
Yeah, and Laura Summer.
Yep.
Also, yeah, Laura Summer.
Shout out to Laura
very
Summer.
Much. Yeah.
Go listen to the interview we did. Anyway.
Yes.
I say we.
So,
Me.
yeah, the royal we.
The
Royal
we.
Stevie.
And, Quinn, what was your question?
I forgot to get one, so...
It's okay. We can come back to you next time, because we do have the comments from YouTube to read. So first of all, we have Daniel, who says, to clarify why there's no Merline, the tanker was going to crash on the wrong side of the island to get to see the Merline. Based on the map, it feels they are most accurate geographically speaking. Thank you for explaining that.
Seems like a weird thing for Digimon to care about.
Yeah. And Daniel then says, however, anyway, it's not the first time we were attacked by Japan, so many that the in-universe government was going, same old, we'll deal with it later, diplomacy or something, ha ha ha. And that's a good point. Then Daniel said, side note, you can't get the Merline in Digimon and Pokemon because of copyright issues. Our tourism board actually created the Merline itself, so it's not actually part of any mythology. And I didn't even think about that. I'm like, oh, well, it exists, so let's just make a Digimon about it. And I still want a Merline Digimon, though. I just really like the Merline. Next, we have Des Information say, did the other kids even see Devimon face to face? I mean, they missed out of almost everything. And yeah, I don't think they did. I think they were sent back to the human world, and then Devimon showed up as a sand beast. And then we have Relux the Relux, who says, actually, it is implied that unlike the original children in the remake, they can only evolve to perfect when demonstrating their trait and not at will. This was shown in a previous episode where Greymon was about to evolve, but Taichi's bravery wavered, so Greymon Digivolution was aborted. And yeah, I wish that they kind of played on that more, because I think it was only that one time in an episode. I think it was like 10 episodes ago? Anyway, next we have Pastel Doodles, who said that they're sad because probably we're not going to get any mode changes for the rest of the kids. Also, it's the third time we have Taichi and Yamato facing an evil powerful boss Digimon who only they can and must destroy, except they can't and they have to be saved by some external force. 2 times the Feathers and Omegamon, this time the good kids. Nope, they were rescued by Taichi again. And then they say, I don't know if the writers are aware of how repetitive this is getting. By the way, Korean Buff Jesus made their whole week. I'm glad. I'm glad that someone appreciated that weird rambling topic that I had. Next, Ray of Truth said, the first 11 episodes of Adventure Colin are faster than Adventure 99, but at this point Colin has slowed down so much that 99 has passed it in speed. By episode 23 of 99, we had passed the Edamon arc. Meanwhile, in Colin, the last 10 or so episodes have been dragging. We still don't fully know who is behind Nidhoggmon and Devimon or whatever the plans are. I think that was just Devimon. Anyway, they continue to say, and aside from evolutions, very few major events are actually happened beyond finding TK and sidelining half the cast. Well, more than half the cast. I feel this, like a summary up to this point of overall plot in Colin would be shorter than 99 stories so far. And it's a weird one, except we've had perfect evolutions for all the kids, I guess, except TK and Kari, which again is faster than the original series, but it's interesting to see how we've only just defeated Devimon. CHC says, this show is underrated, maybe the animation going to be irregular, but if the most important battle's going to have good animation, I'm happy, and Toei's doing a good job with the plot, and I'm glad someone's enjoying it, and yeah, I'm glad this episode had good animation because it was an important battle, more or less. Then Gleaming Gamor said that they're here to defend Yamato telling Taichi to use the debris. He did not just tell him to hide, he told him to use the debris to close in on Devimon, which is what they did. That said, there are flaws in this episode that I did not notice or feel very strongly about when watching it. And yeah, I guess that's kind of like, it's kind of my problem this season is that like, I nitpick so much that, and I got this from Stevie this week, but every week there's someone who says, wow, I really like this episode until May came along and ruined it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know I started to be at the start of like the covering the series. I was the positive one who was like, "Oh, this episode was good. I enjoyed it. It had Digimon." And now it's just like, "Oh, let me tell you about what was wrong with this episode that you didn't realize." Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then last up, we have Lioli, who said, thinking back to the interviews when the show started, the writers did say that Digivolution would be tied to their connection. So to evolve, they didn't have to be in sync with their partner, which didn't happen until they stilled their resolve and the Digivice began to glow. Could also explain why they evolve through fighting rather than showing their crest trait. And I feel like it's sometimes like both and sometimes neither. Like, I feel like the writers can't make up their mind about what causes evolution. Because, like, sometimes it's just like, oh, scream your Digimon's name real hard. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we have any other comments? I do know that Stevie does have to leave 6 minutes ago.
I don't think so.
I kind of just gave up on being overly critical of it because I've come to terms with the fact that this is mostly just a cash grab. It hasn't been made because they have any real new ideas for Digimon.
Well, that's Digimon. Like, it's a lot of it's a cash grab. Like, they keep on releasing more or less the same virtual pet, and each time it's like, ooh, this one's blue. Like, they just keep on doing things. So, having said that, big fan of Mugenjimon. I'm glad that they're releasing a Gunpla Mugenjimon. Please give me more Mugenjimons. Also, they're releasing, like, Omegamon and Diaboromon fighting as a figure. I was like, ooh, because I love our war games so much. So, yeah, cash grabs, they work on me.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, yep, they made it because it's a safe bet, it'll sell, not because they had, like, some new ideas that they wanted to use these characters for.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of Digimon, is that it's safe. Yeah. Like, Cross Wars could have been really good if they decided to make it a little bit... Like, they weren't brave enough with making it different. Like, they tried to make it different, and then they sort of still just sort of sunk back into the same-ish sort of thing, especially with the young hunters, so... I don't know. Thank you for listening, and next time you can join us for the discussion of episode 25, Dive to the Next Ocean. Do we have any predictions quickly? I guess, my prediction is more Taichi and Yamato being the only characters that matter, and also TK will sell stop at some point. Did I say sell stop? I meant yell stop.
I would like to see
into the
Andromon.
future. Tomo Yuko-sa.
I just want to dive into the future. Atmon is better.
Yeah. No, I don't have much of anything.
Yeah, neither does the plot. Ouch. That's a burn. How's Toei gonna respond?
By releasing more episodes?
That I have to pay for, yeah. Like, come on. Continue complaining. We know you're going to give us money anyway. Here you go, you silly Australian. Just give us more money. Pay those import taxes. You do that. Yeah, so do we have any other predictions or things to say about, hey, look, Digimon going to be there?
I have no idea. It looks like it's just going to be Arc 2.
Yeah. Well, finally, because I feel like I think I'm done with Devimon.
Yeah.
He was only really there for like 3 episodes at the end.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just exposition and ominous.
I wish I knew
camera
why I
angles.
cared about the Holy Digimon.
Because he was TK.
Because Patamon.
I mean, I guess, but like we got a bunch of signs that said go get the Holy Digimon, and I mean we did, and I guess I still don't really care.
The Holy Digimon glowed and got War Greymon.
But the thing is, we're going to find out there's a second Holy Digimon, and we're going to do the exact same thing again. It's like the Rose Morning Star again from Frontier.
The Holy
Anyway,
Digimon.
I guess it's Holier Digimon. Oh, there's one more. She's a cat, not a hamster with wings. So I guess it's outro time.
Can I try it?
Are we going to see... Okay, you can try it. I did send it in the segment guide. You'll just have to scroll down. It starts from link dump in the description.
This is what I've been looking forward to.
Best of luck, Stevie.
Okay.
Really? Wow. So this is why you hung on, even though you've got plans. I'm sorry.
So,
good luck.
Our link dump is linked in the description. Our Redbubble is also linked in the description. You can get more than just shirts there too. You can contact us and stay updated by emailing us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on our website, LostinTranslationmon.com. Vote in polls, you can check our release schedule and check our blog posts on that website. You can follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter. You can find us on LostinTranslationMon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Wheel and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit. We'd appreciate it if you were to review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast app you use. Ratings really help people find our podcast. We also have a website, which we mentioned earlier, LostinTranslationMon.com. That is there twice. You can donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description for as little as $1 a month, which gets you access to our listener Discord server, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more. Thank you to our supporters on Patreon, Joe, Stephen Reeves, Wildwing64 and Archive of Our Own, Kaido Washi, Chisai, who you can follow on Twitter at Chisai236, Kyle, Lizmet, Elecmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Metal Man, Sam, Spiral, Keith from Granville Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter Rewatch podcast, Silverhaired Freak 25, Magnus, Lucas, Blindman, and Japheth. Hope I've said that right. You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. https://www.paypal.me/airdramon. You can also donate to May on Ko-fi. ko-fi.com/airdra. And that's it, I think.
Yeah, you did like really. I was really like, oh, how do I suck so badly? Like,
I was breathless throughout most of that.
yeah, I think
you
I
do
think
it
it's
so
because
fast.
like I do it so fast, and that's when like the word description and discussion start to be issues when I speak quickly. Like I don't know why I go so fast, but I guess Quinn, next week do you want to try?
The discussion.
Because like I'm very impressed with Stevie. Like I should really try to like slow down and take a leaf out of Stevie's book and actually do things well. So thank you for that, Stevie. So so thank you for listening. And Quinn, where can we find you in a classroom?
But only for like 2 more weeks, and then I get 2 months off.
So then we can't find Quinn.
No, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna hide in a hole and maybe come out to do this.
Yeah. So that's the only time that you can find Quinn, I guess, and on the Moncast. And Stevie?
You can find me on the Moncast when we come up by hiatus in 2021 at some point.
And also here.
Cool.
And also here. When I turn up.
Yay! So, yes, thank you for listening, and thank you, of course, for joining me, Quinn and Stevie, and for Stevie, thank you for reading the outro and showing me up.
It's like my only contribution to this recording. Yay!
And it's a good one. And no, you contributed that Patamon love, so that's important.
Very important.
Yes. So yes, thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.